Episode 51 of Cinco Squad, and we are here. What's up,
Hello.
fellas? How you doing? My name is Jonathan Sawyer with Cinco Squad, of course. And with me is Pat in the Hat, or Pan in the
with
Head.
Cinco Squad?
Not with Cinco Squad. He's with
Am I
Trace
with Cinco
Squad.
Squad?
I'm Tony Gonzalez.
And with me is Mike DeSanto. It is a beautiful Thursday evening as we're watching these college basketball games. One's a blowout and one's in overtime.
One's in overtime.
So, fellas, how was your week?
Good.
Mike, go ahead. Yeah.
It was good, aside from that unfortunate wound to the national pride with the loss to Japan. Credit Japan, though. You know, they had great
John
team.
already forgot.
Well, wipe it from the memory because we don't. USA don't lose. These colors don't bleed.
These colors don't bleed, baby.
Wait, what?
No, it was a good game. It was a good game.
Yeah, it was. It was a good.
My flag was half staff. Giggity.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
There's another one.
God damn it.
Pat, how was your week? Long?
Oh, it's long, getting longer by the second, boys. Any day now, it'll come to a completion. We'll finish this all together, though.
Is your week coming to a climax, Pat?
Hopefully.
All right.
Took a little while to get
forward to a happy ending. That's all I can say.
There may not be enough time this time.
Ooh. Oh, wait.
All right. We're losing listeners.
My mom's listening probably somewhere.
Yeah, it was a good week of sports. I mean, we had the World Baseball Classic, which was, unfortunately disappointing, but it was fun to see USA. Yeah, it was. It was right down to the last at bat. You couldn't have a storybook ending to it. I mean, you had Shohei versus teammate Mike Trout to end the game. So, little controversy
with that, though.
What's that?
I saw a stat real quick. Mike Trout was only struck out 3 straight pitches like that. I think it was only 24 times in his career.
Yeah,
makes sense. That's insane.
He's a great player. I mean, as they said in the game, which I kind of disagree with, but he's the greatest of all time. And
who, Ohtani?
No, Mike Trout.
Dude, John Smoltz was on one that game, though.
Yeah, no, he was. He was on his Tony Romo that game.
I think it was like when Schwarber was up the plate. He's like, everyone in the lower bowl standing up. As you can see behind the plate, everyone's sitting down. Like,
yeah,
he was sniffing his own farts.
Yeah, he was on one. He was on his Tony Romo grind last night. So, but I mean, it was a fun game. I mean, Japan, was the favorite coming in. I mean, they were 6-0. So hats off to them and Shohei. And now we are starting baseball here next week. So looking forward to that.
7 more days, fellas.
7 more days. Mike's having panic attack about it.
So long for this.
He's been waiting since October. When did the season end, Mike?
October. It ended on October 29th at 9:53 p.m. and 5 seconds. No, I don't know that specifically, but it was somewhere around there.
But after a long week, we got to go to our favorite. What you sipping on, Pat?
Oh, God, I'm so thirsty. Blue light.
Yeah,
go with the classic, baby. Go with the classic. Can I read you my DMs to look at Blue Light while we wait for Grandpa Jay?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's appropriate. I'll make sure it's PG.
Okay, we're not in after dark territory yet.
We're trying to get Labatt to sponsor at least me. Hopefully, the whole podcast. I said, "Hey, it's me again. Just checking in. I miss you. I'll probably see you on Wasted Wednesday or Thirsty Thursday. Either way, just wanted to say I'll see you soon, you beautiful thing." And I kept my promise. They're making me chaser, though.
Yeah.
John, what you sipping on?
I got a new energy drink because it's all about power.
Oh,
all about drive. It's all power.
Oh boy.
How is
that? The Rock?
Yeah, it's the Rocks.
I'm hoping this makes me like 6'5" and jacked. So
Samoan.
That too. Actually, no, I'll be the ginger one.
The ginger Nolan.
Did you know it?
A ginger Moen.
Bald head and everything. Mike, what you got today?
Makeup. He's got like Brahma Bull tattoos, and
I mean, he's pretty close to tattoo right now.
Yeah.
Rock that thing. Let's see it. Let's see it. There we go.
Hey,
there we go.
And there's a good story behind that.
I just gotta, put it around my chest. Mikey Mike, we're always wondering what you sipping on.
Okay. So
he's probably gonna say Aquafina.
I have a Seagram's Escapes Jamaican Me Happy.
You're making me happy, baby. What's it taste like? What's it feel like?
Feel like a pretty girl.
It makes me feel beautiful.
I was a rich girl.
If I was a rich man. No, it's actually pretty good. It's like strawberry, lemon, and watermelon.
Nice.
Oh yeah, it's a good, nice spring summer flavor. So it's technically spring now. So we're getting into the spring,
baby. We're getting there.
Yeah, you guys get into the 50s today, Pat? We dipped into the 50s over here.
Yeah, I was.
Meanwhile, John.
Yeah, right. The pickleball nets opened up in Syracuse,
New York. That.
Let's go.
I didn't say a word about the weather, so I mean, don't call on me. I didn't say a word. It was very warm. Okay, it was warm and crisp today.
Oh, that's Florida, man.
It was beautiful out today, actually. It was 85, little breeze, perfect golf weather. But I was sitting behind a desk watching a screen, so. So I don't know where Grandpa Jay is today. So I think we're just gonna start with just a Pat parlay today. So
parlay.
So if he joins, we'll change it up, but it's gonna be Pat parlay.
If not, these are my winners, and you gotta go with it.
Yeah, we have no choice.
You have no choice.
A Pat lay, if you will.
A Pat. I'll lay. Wait, no, pause. Hold up.
No, stop. Stop it right now.
All right, get to the Pat. Get to the parlay. Come on.
All right. So these are pretty much all winners, and I hope you guys agree because you can't dispute it. There is no Jamie in this payment.
Okay.
All right. Tomorrow, I got Alabama with the points, -7.5 over San Diego State. And then we're going to go into the pro hardwood. Let's go. Toronto, money line over the Pistons. Grizzlies, money line over the Rockets. Mavericks, money line over the Hornets. Those are all home games. And my road dog is Milwaukee Bucks over Utah Jazz.
So you have Bama? You say you have Bama?
Bama, -7.5. That means they have to win at least 8 points or more.
Right.
Okay.
And then Toronto over Detroit. Memphis Grizzlies with Ja Morant back.
They look
Guns
good
a-blazing over the Rockets. And Dallas Mavericks over the Charlotte Hornets. I almost said New Orleans Hornets.
Old times.
And Milwaukee Bucks over Utah Jazz. Bang,
That's good,
bang, baby.
I like it.
I like
you gotta like it. There is no Jamie.
I like the Grizzlies. I mean, the Grizzlies.
They're
Grizzlies
hot, man.
They played very well the other night, and it was good to see him come back. At the end of the day, the biggest thing with Ja Morant, at the end of the day, I hated what he did, and because of the caliber and the type of player, he's exciting to watch, right? And for him to do something like that, what he did, I'm glad that he's doing better and taking the right strides to the right way instead of going backwards, right? And saying, F you this, F you that, and, doing whatever he wanted. So he handled it the right way, and I'm glad that he's
man. Yeah, exactly. You got to learn from life and take it on and advance into it.
Exactly.
He looks like he's taking the right steps, too. Good for him, man.
Yeah, it was nice to see. I think it was his daughter in his arms last night during a post-game interview, and she said something like a quote that Memphis always says. So that was nice, and it was just like a nice, wholesome moment that, hey, I'm back. I learned from my mistakes. It's time to move on and play basketball. Yeah. So I really like that. I hope that's like, the stuff for good things to come. So, definitely.
Thank God, man, because I don't want him out of the league. He's
exciting.
No. Yeah.
He's exciting to watch, and he's explosive. So,
and I'll give him credit in the sense that we've had a lot of athletes, particularly I would say in the NBA and NFL, that do something wrong and until, the end of time, defend the fact that they didn't think they did anything wrong or it was misunderstood. He at least has stepped up, like you guys said, taken responsibility and understood what he did wrong and what the perception of what he did creates for him, the Grizzlies, the league, the game of basketball, all that. And he's right.
Yeah.
And it honestly does seem, especially in his return, that he's working to make himself a better person, a better player, make the team better, the league better, do right by the fans, and move forward as a learning experience.
And let's be realistic. They needed someone to come in and kind of distract the whole Dylan Brooks nonsense. Because
I was just gonna bring that up. Like John Morant, I know he was doing like crazy stuff behind the scenes, off court. He was having some fun. Dylan Brooks seems like he needs some anger management.
But that's the problem, right? We saw him at Oregon. We saw him in college, and he was always very humble player. Like he was never like that. And I don't know where this villain role has come about himself that he needs to act all like this, because he's a very
cameraman down.
He's a very talented player and he can really play the game, but the way he's
not even a star, man. He's a role player.
Exactly. But I'm saying his attitude is making him like, I don't even want to play you, but we have to because you're a significant part of the team off the bench.
Right.
And I think he starts now, but I think he's a significant.
He's been starting, I think.
He's a significant player on that team. So, but the problem is they're all a bunch of young guys, and we talk about this all the time. The NBA is a bunch of young kids at the end of the day, young men. Or I should say.
You're speaking like a 30-year-old, all right?
I know, right?
31 whippersnappers.
Those kids back in my day.
But it's true.
Their shorts are too long.
But it's true though. Like they don't have a veteran presence on that team that can kind of keep them in check. Like, we have a chance to do something special this year.
Adams.
But he's hurt. He's not there. So
he's still there.
Oh,
I just see it that way. But all in all, I'm glad to see John Morant back on the court.
Yeah.
I hope that this is for good things to come forward, and he's doing everything he can to stay on the court and keep his circle small, and make sure watch him hopefully play in the NBA Finals one day. That'd be sweet. Yeah, I think it'd be exciting.
Yeah, I hope he can lose to the Celtics.
I now hope he can lose to the Knicks.
I wanted to give
the newly founded Knicks.
Yes,
fandom.
I wanted to give one shout out that I was looking through our statistics here over the past month and doing a lot of different things. I want to thank you, Pat, you, Mike, and Jamie. For all your hard work, for everything you guys have done.
Wherever Jamie may be.
Wherever he may be. I think he's in the pool somewhere swimming. But over the last 28 days, between Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, we've had over 25,000 views. And I just want to give a shout out to everyone that's viewed our stuff and supported us. We appreciate you, and thank you very much for all the support. And we're going to keep putting out content and there's a lot in store for 2023, so we appreciate everything. So just wanted to put that out there. And then one other thing I received today from Idris, who will be on the show next week. UWD.
Get out of here!
That's awesome.
Get out of here!
So I got to lose a couple pounds to fit into it because I put it on earlier.
You framed that.
It was a little snugged. Oh, he gave me shorts with it too, so that was pretty cool.
Damn.
So now I got the whole gear up. So awesome. Shout out to Idris for sending that over to us. We appreciate it. And let's get into our college basketball talk. So
what's going on right now?
Kansas State beat Michigan State in overtime. UConn's taking care of Arkansas.
Say that again.
That game's been done. I was very surprised, but that was really interesting. But over the last week, there's been a lot of coaching changes, especially Providence, Georgetown, Notre Dame, Syracuse, a lot of over the place.
Wait, Notre Dame didn't change?
Yeah, they did. Mike Bray.
He left?
Yeah, he retired.
Yeah. Mike Bray retired, and they're going to hire Micah Shrewsbury from Penn State.
I missed that one.
Yeah.
I knew he was going to.
He announced it late.
And then stopped.
He announced he's maybe 10 games left. He said he's going to, call it quits.
Yeah.
But
I thought you went back on it and said, no, I'm not retiring.
No.
No.
Shit, man.
Yeah.
Tom Izzo's the only one of the old guards staying.
And we'll see what happens after today's game. See what happened. I mean, team fought hard.
He's staying.
I think he's staying. He's got a lot left in his tank. But
especially losing an overtime like that, he's staying.
Brings up a good question for when you're talking about these younger coaches and everything that are starting to take the reins. We're so used to the Coach Case, Roy Williams, Tom Izzo, Jim Boeheim, Mike Bray, John Thompson, Rick Pitino, all these guys. We're legends at these programs. Mm-hmm. So that played in a factor in recruiting. But how important is it to be a good recruiter versus a good coach in college? Because, and Pat, I'm going to throw this to you first, but it's just it's an interesting question because it's true. Like you can be a good, you can be a good recruiter, but coaching you can be okay. But you can't be if you can be a good coach, but not a good recruiter. So, what are your thoughts on that? Like, what do you think is more important? I guess, and which route do you?
Coaching is more important. Coaching is more important. If you have a good team, you got a good brand, you can get the kids. It's all about exposure and goes into the television. That's how Syracuse and every other old Big East school got kids from California. They would come home from school, see the schools playing as soon as they get off the bus. And that's how they got a lot of their guys. It's having the brand, having the ball. Boeheim really didn't recruit in his later years. He had his assistants do it. So it's really all about the good coaching, I think, and then the recruits will follow.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think,
thank you.
Over the last, 5 years, he really gave the reins to Autry and McNamara on the recruiting trail. Obviously, him being there with a 5-star probably helped push over the line a little bit with Benny Williams and stuff. But
he's got the Hall of Fame name next to him, got the championship, X amount of Final Fours. Guys are going to see that, and he doesn't have to come to my living room. I know what this guy's about.
Yeah, and I think that was a big thing that he said in the press conference is I wanted to coach these guys. I helped recruit these guys. I wanted to be there. So, Mike, what do you think? I know, and this question comes from Mike's dad. It was a great question when he came up with it. It was really something. So thanks, Mr. DeSanto.
Thanks, Pops. If you're out there listening, love you. We'll see you soon.
See what Jamie?
I thought no.
We're just waiting around.
From my perspective, I did a little more thinking since the last time I talked with my dad about this topic when he brought it up a little bit, and I've done some more thinking about it. And honestly, for me, it has a little bit to do with what stage of your career as a head coach you're in. Mm-hmm. I think being a good recruiter is more important in your first few years of you being a head coach.
That makes sense.
Where you have to, especially if you are, a first-time head coach that's been assistant for so long and goes to a smaller program, you need to be a good recruiter, I think, more than a good coach in that sense, because you're trying to build a program. You have to be able to recruit guys to bring in, if only to raise the prestige of your program so that then you're more of a name that people think of wanting to go to.
You could also, piggybacking off that, Mike, you could also throw that into, nowadays with changing schools, like Rick Pitino going from Iona to St. John's right now.
Right.
He's got to recruit to bring that brand back up.
Right. So it also depends on if you are changing programs.
And especially with that brand is we knew when we were growing up, St. John's was on the back half of their success, and then ultimately in the early 2000s, they weren't that great of a program.
But there are historically a good basketball program in New York City, and they play in the Garden for some home games.
Correct. It plays a big factor. So, sorry, Mike, go ahead. Finish your statement.
No, I think it's – and if you look at some of these long-term guys where – when he got the one that came up today, because I actually watched, by the way, if you guys haven't seen it, Beef History between Rick Pitino and John Calipari. It's a very good video on YouTube. I recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
The one that came to mind was John Calipari, where he gets to Kentucky, and at Kentucky, while they were already, a prestigious blue blood program, this is John Calipari's Kentucky. So he's got to recruit people, his guys, to play at John Calipari's Kentucky. But now it's John Calipari's Kentucky. Like, if you're a 5-star recruit, that's a school you're thinking about going to, just because of the success. So now it's more about Cal being able to coach these guys.
I don't know. I can't stand the guy. I wish Jamie was here for this part, because when I saw this question being brought up, I immediately thought of him. Yeah. Every other coach looks to coach these guys up, when he was always about
getting them out.
These guys in the lottery. Get these guys in the NBA lottery.
Yep.
You got to do
it. And I think
they even have a video of him in his living room with all his lottery picks in their jerseys.
I mean,
it's the brand of him. You're absolutely right, Mike.
Right. Yeah. What do you think,
my thoughts on this is I first was thinking good recruiter. So at the time, but when I went back and forth and really thought about it, I think you have to be a good coach. I think you have to have some sort of background in order to allow kids to come to you and, allow them to trust in being there at that school. And then ultimately, nowadays it's all about going to the league. That's every kid's dream. That's what they want. So
ultimately, weird, right? Why would you want to be the big guy on campus and go to all the parties and chill with all the sorority girls? I'm just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there, Judaments. I'm just throwing it out there. Why you gotta go?
I mean, when I think about being a good coach, I think that has to have some background on it in that sense. So when you're talking about recruiting, it's going to make recruiting a little bit easier. I think being able to talk to people and sell people your university and why they should come to Syracuse or why they should come to North Carolina and stuff like that. The history is on the wall. Like, they have all the greats that were there at those universities. There's a reason why you come to those schools.
It's the harder school. We're focusing on the big brands too,
but it's harder for the smaller schools.
It's absolutely harder.
It's hard. I'll say our alma mater, like going to St. Bonaventure. What Mark Schmidt has been able to do at that program for the last 12 years, and be able to get top guys who are now playing professional ball overseas and stuff like that. Only in New York is a very small town, like 1,200 people maybe.
Yeah,
it's very tiny. There's nothing but the campus there. Yeah, really? It's very tiny.
It's very. There's like Pat, 2 lights in the whole town. Pat, St. Bonaventure is situated right between Olean and Allegheny, right?
Yeah.
Statistically, while we were in school, they were the 2 most impoverished towns in New York State. Damn. It literally, the school feeds both towns. So, if Bonaventure sucks, then the town does terribly.
But good, I mean, ultimately,
what a recruiting pitch right there.
but that's what I'm saying. It's hard for him to be a good recruiter and a good coach. It's kind of a double whammy, because he can really brings. There's nothing to do there. There's not much to do. And so why would you want to?
You guys are really helping this school out.
But that's the point, though. That was your point, though. Like, going to these smaller schools, it's hard. It's hard to recruit to these schools. Like when you got Syracuse and Kansas and Kentucky and everybody knocking on your door, it's like, oh, why would I go to here? Oh, okay.
Right.
So I think coaching has to have some sort of play in there.
That's crazy. Bringing back John Morant, that this kid was uber talented. Everyone knew it. And where'd he go? Murray State?
Murray State.
Yeah. Murray State, yep.
Crazy, right? And everyone knew he was only going to be there for a year.
Was he there? I think he was there for 3.
Oh.
He was there for 1?
Yeah, 1 year.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I think it's a good question, because I think if you're going to be a good recruiter, like, you got to be able to sell your school, regardless if it's a big program, like you were mentioning, Pat. Like, if your program's doing terrible and you're not doing very well, it's kind of hard to sell the school, right? Like, Rick Pitino's going to have some work to do in going to St. John's. They're not going to have
him bringing his caliber of coaching.
Correct.
Because he's proven time and again, no matter what happens, the dude's a freaking cockroach. It ain't going away. He adapts.
And he keeps his suits too.
It's funny. It's funny you brought that
I don't care. He looks sharp. I don't care.
Oh, no, they're nice.
I would rock those suits all day, man. If I was a coach, I'd be like like, hey, what's up?
It's funny that you said it though, because like watching this tournament, you can tell who's from the old guard, like Mike Cronin from UCLA. He's got his whole bench in suits, and then you go Tom Izzo. No, I'm doing sweats.
I'm comfortable. I'm going old man. The old man look.
Yeah.
All they're missing on the sideline is a recliner.
But bro, I was thinking, man, all these guys got suits. They paid for it pre-COVID. Yeah, why aren't you rocking them suits?
Never understood. I mean, I always thought that was the coolest part. It's like, all right, which coach?
Man, I would never. I hate dressing up, so I think I tied my tie 2 times in my life.
I know. How many times did you ask me about my wedding? Can I wear a hat?
Yeah,
I wear a hat. No.
That's actually true. That is 100% true.
No, I mean,
one wedding I can get away with it. It's John's, please.
I don't know. I probably could have asked Malin. She probably wouldn't have cared, but
I couldn't ruin her day. It's not your day. It's her.
Not my day. Not my day.
No.
I was just there.
Yes.
I was. But yeah, I mean, I think good recruiters are, definitely like Adrian Autry. I think is going to do a good job because he's been doing that over the last 10 years. But we'll see. I mean, in these new positions, because I see St. John's being what Pittsburgh is this year. I see St. John's being not very good next year, and then getting a lot of transfers the year after, like Jeff Capel did.
I think St. John's could be up there like Missouri this year, getting all the transfer portal guys.
But that's what I was saying. Yeah, exactly.
They could do it.
You're right. It's
I see them making the tournament next year.
St. John's,
and Georgetown.
Right.
I had a question for you guys on that subject.
Mm-hmm.
As fans of a longtime Big East team that knows Georgetown heavily through the years as a rival, what do you think in that regard the future of Georgetown is?
I think they're in great hands. I think that was a great hire.
Yeah.
Cooley was always a tough coach to coach against. When we played Providence, it was always up and down when Syracuse played Providence. And he can recruit and he's a good coach. So I don't think going and get a former player who hasn't had a head coaching job yet. I think he knows what to do. Plus, I think he understands what Georgetown is and what Georgetown used to be. Getting a young coach in there that doesn't know what that is, it's kind of hard.
He went to Providence, too. So he saw Providence all the way through, good times, bad times, and he brought that program back up from the ashes, too. They were trash.
Right. So you think he'll do that?
Georgetown.
Yeah. You think he'll do that with Georgetown?
They got a bigger brand behind them.
True.
And it's a great area to recruit, too, Washington, D.C.
True. Oh, no, that's very true. I was just curious because that's one of those notable name programs that it's like, man, they are so bad.
Yep. Yeah.
They're terrible. I mean, 2 wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was the biggest thing is he could never Patrick Ewing could never get the recruits that he needed, and he just wasn't.
He couldn't keep them. I think he got them.
That's a good point. He couldn't keep them, and then
that goes with coaching.
He's an regardless, he's an intimidating guy, man. Yeah. I mean, he's 7'2". He's always looking like he's pissed off, and he may be the nicest guy in the world, but
that doesn't matter because John Thompson was the same thing, man.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Both,
that don't matter, man.
Both John Thompsons.
The third, he looked like a puppy dog.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, his son did. It wasn't very intimidating. So
it would intimidate me. So I'm tiny. So, guys, I think we have a friend that just joined us.
Is Jamie ready?
Out of the pool.
Finally out of the pool. Grandpa Jay joining us.
I don't want to get out of the pool.
What's happening? Better late than never.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Well, we're going into our next topic, and we were just talking about is it good recruiter versus good college, but now we're going on to are sports better when you have a villain that stands out to everyone in the league? And I think that came from the fact that Dylan Brooks.
Is this like Bane walking out on the football field and Batman.
Why you hit it on the nail?
I think more or less, I think it comes from Dylan Brooks, but I think is that where it came from, Jay?
Well, kind of, yes, Dylan Brooks as of recent, like the antics of Dylan Brooks and Pat Beverly, and we've seen over like Richie Incognito, we've seen Dennis Rodman, like we've seen these polarizing characters in sports for a long time, and somehow it's like you're always drawn to them for whatever reason, and sometimes hate draws you more than love in some instances, right? So my thing was like, do sports become more entertaining knowing that everybody has that one person to hate? And they feed off of that energy too, right? Are sports better when there's a definitive villain in the game in any particular league?
I don't know. I like Pat Bev and Dylan Brooks. Like their antics are just cringy. I want a villain like going up against Kobe Bryant, being a Celtics fan. I want a good villain. I want someone playing the game, playing at high elevated game level. I want to root against that. That's the guy I don't want to. Oh my God, I don't want to face this guy, but I love watching him play.
It was like Paul Pierce back in the Heat when the Heat era, when LeBron was there. Like Paul Pierce.
I didn't even say KG from the Heat side. KG was great, but he could also shit talk.
Yeah, exactly. And, those KG, those Celtics games were probably some of the greatest basketball games I've ever watched. They were just like going at it. And it'd be like the middle of December, and it's like they're already going at it. We can't wait for the conference finals. So.
Right.
I see that as it being a good thing for basketball because it brings out a little bit more tenacity for these teams like the Warriors and like the Lakers, like Mavericks, like Suns, like because they want to beat this guy so bad because he's been talking so much shit, and it's like, dude, I just want to punch you in the fucking face, but I can't. That's not legal. Yeah. I mean, I could, but
back in the day it was
right. Jamie, my lovely wife, says fashionably late.
Of course. Always.
And Anthony says, yo.
Hey, yo, Tony.
But I think that, Mike, what do you think about that?
Well, one of my first thoughts about it is there's a reason why one of the more popular 30 for 30s by ESPN over the last few years is I hate Christian Laettner.
Yep.
Because everybody hated to play Christian Laettner, and it goes back to what Pat said and what John said, where he was so good that you wanted to beat him so bad. And I, on a personal note, for me, as you guys know, in college, Grayson Allen.
Yeah.
I hate Grayson Allen.
Yep.
But to that point, for me personally, with Grayson Allen, yes, it made the game so much better because I not only wanted to beat Duke because it's North Carolina, but I want them to beat Grayson Allen. I want Allen to score no points. I want him to look terrible. I want them to beat Grayson Allen and Duke. So yeah, I think absolutely having whatever team you root for, whatever sport you watch, having someone to drive and direct your efforts to win at is always great because it's easy to want to just always want to beat the other team, but it adds a little more spice to it when you want to beat that guy that won't shut up.
Ooh, I love spicing things up, Mikey.
Spice it up. Look,
I was thinking to your point, Mike, with UNC Duke in college basketball as a whole this year in the tournament, it's not as fun rooting against Duke without Coach K on the sideline.
It's true.
Like I want nothing
to
but
an extent
for this man's life, and I couldn't do it this year.
See, I don't feel that so much because as a UNC fan, I got the satisfying.
Right. But you want to keep having them feel that pain.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah.
So one thing that I know Pat and I would say is the villain, but was never playing in the game was when we used to when Syracuse in the Big East used to go to Pittsburgh. And that,
Jamie Dixon, I can't stand
remember
it.
The Oakland Zoo. Remember that?
Yeah.
That would be so annoying and piss me off so much because the fans would try to start getting like fights with the players, and it's like, what are you doing? You're a fan. Like, sit down. Like, that used to be irritating as all can be. And then like the one year when Tyler Ennis hit the game-winning buzzer from half court, I was like,
right up to this. Yes.
I was like,
right back up to the students.
Wow!
That's to keep the perfect streak alive too.
Jamie, I'm sure you've had a bunch of villains there at Kentucky.
Kentucky.
But, I mean, he said the one name that every Kentucky fan is going to hate for.
I hate
Christian Leitner. But, the one to me that was more entertaining than almost any was the Terrell Owens Dallas Cowboys moments where those games were must-watch TV because you were like, that's my quarterback, man.
Yeah, but, quarterback sucks.
It became that's what I'm saying. Like, it became must-watch TV because they're like, who's going to fight Terrell Owens on the Dallas Star next time they play in Dallas? And the NFL purposely was like, we're finding a way to schedule this. Like, we don't care. Even though they're not supposed to play each other every year, we're going to find a way to make this happen.
Yes.
But now it's
on the Niners.
But now that meme is used. I use that meme every time you guys do something or something. I was like, that's my quarterback. I said it to you guys. So, I mean, what was it? 15 years from now, it's been used as an amazing meme. So, but yeah, that was annoying. I mean, I think you're right. It does bring out a little bit more like I can't wait to beat this dude
dude, it's definitely an edge, man. Because just going right back to the Cowboys there, I don't give two shits about Washington teams.
Right.
I hate Jerry Jones. I hate Jerry Jones and that star, man.
I always say, like, John and Pat are Eagles fans. I'm a Giants fan. But if there's one thing, and Jamie's a Tampa fan, but if there's one thing we can all agree on, it's fuck the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Bring it back to very recent news. Ezekiel Elliott looking to find a team, and the Eagles are emerging.
No.
My friend texted me.
Don't do it.
My friend texted me, said, would you welcome in open arms? I said, I don't want anyone that suckled on Jerry Jones' tit on my Eagles team.
Or took his
I'll tell you what, who was fun? Who was it's fun when you have a villain on your team, when everybody hated Warren Sapp because and he backed up his talk too. I mean, sometimes he ran his mouth unnecessarily.
It's like Tony Saragusa.
So
with Baltimore,
same thing with Goose. But man, Warren Sapp was fun to have, and he talked a lot of shit, but he backed it up. He was a lot. Of
Ray Lewis, same thing.
Well, I know the tenacity with Manny Ramirez and Pedro Martinez was big for the Red Sox. That gave us Yankees fans like a little bit more. In 04,
I was gonna say,
until like old man.
Well, in 04, like we were like higher on our horses, like ready to go to the World Series, and like we were like we're gonna win. And then like I remember going to school and like I never brag to people. I never do that, and I was just like, screw you.
We're gonna win.
And then like 4 games later, I was like, Ma, don't let me go to school, please.
I'm sick. I promise.
I'm really sick. Like Big East tournament sick.
And then there were also like the mid-90s rivalries where it was everybody on the Knicks against Michael Jordan. And took their shot. Oakley took his shot. Mason took his shot at him. Ewan took a shot. John Starks hated him more than anybody else.
Too. The
Pistons, 90 Pistons, that was like
they were dirty.
So
they would try to
looking
make
tackles. Looking at their perspective, though, Jordan was the guy they went after. Jordan's the villain they hate.
Yeah, a lot of teams villainize Jordan.
Yeah, definitely. I think it helps sports though. I think you're right. It does give it a little bit of an edge. It makes the games a little bit more exciting. You tuned in a little bit more. Like I can't wait for that. Think how many times people go to games to root against someone.
Oh, I would pay anything to just flip off LeBron James. And have him see it. In the garden.
In the garden.
With my chatter.
Hey, LeBron.
Pat, don't forget to park your car in Harvard Yard.
But
nobody parks there.
That was a good topic, Jay. But you came up with another one. And I'm gonna let you take the floor on this.
I like this.
The outrage, outrageous or informative?
All right, so this one kind of came from seeing a lot of people sort of self-proclaim things as of recent, and I was like, this is some outrageous shit that this person has this big of an ego. And in some cases, like they may be backing themselves up because it's a fact. And so I said, let's have a little bit of fun today. And what we're going to do is we're each going to talk about one statement that we've heard from anybody in sports recently, or it could be from a while ago. It doesn't really matter when. And we're going to ask each other whether it makes us outrageous or whether it's informative. And you think, you know what, that person's actually talking facts. I can kind of dig where they're coming from. So I can kick it off for us. And this one kind of This one kind of had me. I'm gonna tell you straight up. This one had me rage because I'm like, this fucking guy. So it comes from the one, the only 12, Mr. A Ron Rodgers, who came out with about a week ago before. I think this was right after he came out of the darkness retreat, and he said, "I am debatably the best player in franchise history. What's not debatable is I'm the longest tenured Packer in history. Nobody bleeds green and gold like me." Now, how the hell can this dude say that when he's seeking a trade to try and get out of Green Bay? I mean, the balls this guy has. Gentlemen, how does that make you feel coming out of the mouth of 12?
So basically, like, he's saying he's the best in Green Bay history.
I'm debatably the best player in franchise history. What's not debatable is
it's annoying because everyone hates a cocky player or anything like that. So, I mean, it's annoying. Is it true? I mean, Brett Favre was pretty damn good. Art Starr was pretty damn good. You know, like
Reggie was pretty damn good.
You know, and they won multiple Super Bowls. So it's like you couldn't perform in the playoffs. You were a great regular season quarterback, but when it came to the playoffs, you were wishy-washy, right? So we didn't know who we would get. So I would say that kind of outrages me because it's like, come on, dude. Like you said, you're trying to get traded. Like, this team could send you to the Houston Texans for all they want. So that'd be awesome. That'd be really, I would love that if they accidentally made a mistake. Like, they're like, he's like, yeah, I'll lift my no trade clause to Houston. Pat, what you think?
Sorry, it was a 3-team trade.
I think it's outrageous because aren't they green and yellow? Like, Lil Wayne made his song green and yellow. It's not green and gold.
He said bleed green and gold, so maybe he doesn't
even know you're wrong. Right there, you're wrong.
Lil Wayne is always right.
And the fact Lil Wayne says, I wish we never signed number 12 back. Yeah, I'm with Lil Wayne. I'm outraged.
Outrageous.
Mikey, how's it make you feel?
I'm going to join the outrage crew because, again, yeah, like you said, Brett Favre is pretty good. Bart Starr is pretty good. Reggie White is pretty good. Also, right, you're trying to get traded, and don't act like you didn't just complain for the last 4 to 5 seasons at least about how they're not giving me any
those
help.
Numbers up, baby.
They won't help. But now it's suddenly you want to leave on good terms.
You know
and now you're
funny?
like, oh,
you know what's funny about that though is
no, you're not. You're a Jet.
He complained about not having any weapons on his team, but he wants all those same weapons.
Exactly.
I
want Randall Cobb.
No sense to me, man.
It still makes $60 million a year.
Right. This guy makes no sense.
This isn't baseball. They have a cap.
In the end, I'm tired of hearing from AA Ron Rodgers.
Right.
Go away. Go be a Jet. Go play football.
Go
and
fly
shut
up,
up,
Jet boy.
So in conclusion,
don't follow Brett Favre's career.
You're outrageous. Get out of here. All right, John, you got one for us?
Yes, I do, and it kind of pissed me the hell off because it's from a player that
I know where he's going with this.
Was pretty irrelevant. I mean, he was relevant on the team, but he was pretty irrelevant. So it was, you guys remember, probably, most likely, Game 6 of the 2013 NBA Finals when Chris Bosh passes the ball to Ray Allen. Ray Allen hits the 3 and sends the Heat to Game 7 in San Antonio.
He walked, though.
So what pissed me off is Mario Chalmers 10 years later comes out and says, I was wide open. I wanted that shot. I would have definitely made it. I wouldn't even hit the rim. It would have been all net. And he was dead serious because I went back because I thought he was just joking. And I went back and watched the interview, and he was dead serious that he should have got the shot. He deserved the shot. Look at Mario. You averaged 8 points a game versus the best 3-point shooter of all time at the time was Ray Allen. Who are you going to trust? Yeah, and also there was only 2 seconds left on the clock, or 3 or 4 seconds on the clock. They had to make a split decision to who to give it to. And obviously it wasn't you, and you were always punked by that team. So don't act like you were sitting here. So that's an outrageous statement. Sorry.
Got a little heat with me. When a player does something great, what's it? He had the presence of mind. Ray Allen had the presence of mind to catch the ball, step back, Mario Chalmers has no presence of mind.
Steps.
All right. Mario Chalmers.
In the NBA,
no
you
presence of mind.
Hey,
That's an outrageous statement because if it was somebody random, but that's like somebody on Golden State saying right now, I should have that shot over Steph. And Clay won't even say that. As cocky as Clay is and as much confidence as he has, Clay won't ever even come out and say, I should have taken that shot instead of Steph. And Clay might arguably end up being the second best three-point shooter of all time at the end of his career. So this is nuts that Mario Chalmers, who won't even finish in the top 150 in three-pointers all time in the NBA, could come out and say something like that. Forget that dude, man. That's why he's already forgotten and nobody kind of even remembers Mario Chalmers other than his time at Memphis. That's about it. Get out of here.
Where he missed the free throws.
Yep.
to win the game for him. So, Mikey, what do you think?
This is outrageous. As Jay Farrow said best on SNL as Stephen B. Smith, Mario Chalmers shouldn't have arms to shoot a free throw in the fourth quarter. Listen, Mario, you were only on that team because LeBron, D-Wade, and Bosh liked how you passed them the ball. That's it. That's why you were on the team.
They didn't want a scoring point guard. That's it.
Right.
And they punked you all season long.
Right.
All season.
You were lucky to have even been on that team, let alone starting for them. So cool your jets, and as Kendrick Perkins says, carry on.
Carry on.
Pat?
Who the hell is interviewing Mario Chalmers?
Right. Why interview him out of all players on that team? That's what I didn't understand. That guy must have had nothing to do.
There's only one available.
Yeah, right.
Just like he was probably available to take that game-winning shot. I will agree with Mario Chalmers. Yeah, man, game-winning mentality. Yeah, he wants to take the shot. I'm informed. I didn't even know he's being interviewed. Look at that.
Wasn't an outrageous statement to Pat. It was informative for him. I didn't even know you were on the floor.
I didn't even know you were out there, man.
Realistically, I didn't know, so I guess I was informative too. I think it's both on this. I didn't know he was out there. I thought they were just playing with four at that point.
They're like, go cherry pick, man. Go cherry pick.
All right, Mike, what is your – so we can all say that is outrageous.
I said informed.
But yet informative.
I'm informed.
I'm informed. I feel informed.
Mike, what is your outrageous or informative statement?
So, taking us to the world of baseball with this, former Reds GM and now baseball analyst, he's been a really great analyst for years, Jim Bowden, said he was told by current Reds GM Nick Krall, if the Reds are out of it at the trade deadline and Joey Votto came to them and asked them if they would trade him home to the Toronto Blue Jays, because Joey Votto, informative part of it, is Canadian. Krall said he would consider it under those circumstances.
Say it again.
So former GM, Reds GM Jim Bowden, now an analyst, was told by the current GM that if the Reds are doing terribly at the trade deadline, as they most likely will, and Votto came to them and said, hey, can you trade me home to try to win with Toronto, because Toronto's supposed to be pretty good, that the GM would then consider trading Votto under those circumstances specifically.
He has to ask to go.
My point.
Oh yeah,
I think
I'm pretty outraged by that. Fuck that.
Yeah. My personal thing is why are you waiting? You're a rebuilding team, and he's not getting any younger. Why are you waiting?
Asses
to
and
trade him?
seats.
So I think it's outrageous, but that's just
I agree. That's really stupid.
So he has to ask him in order to be traded.
From what Bowden said the GM told him, yes, if at around the trade deadline the Reds are completely out of it, there's no way they're making the playoffs. And then Votto came to them and said, hey, can you try to trade me to Toronto? Then he would consider doing it.
I don't know why.
Not do it, consider it.
It's almost like that's outrageous because it's almost like Trout. You know, why should Trout have to ask you? You know, I mean, I'm not comparing Joey Votto with Mike Trout, obviously.
No, but as far as importance
to the team, and like if he wants to go home to Philly or if he wants to go somewhere, I don't know. I just think why should a player have to ask? Just trade him for some draft picks so you guys can continue rebuild. So outrageous.
Well, it's outrageous because this guy is he's the second year. Gee, how long has he been with the team now?
Not long.
Year? Yeah, it might be his second year. So it just seems like he doesn't even get the culture and the identity of the Reds at all at this point. And nor is he managing the team properly. Just like you said, if you're going to make a move or you have any inclination that it's possible to make the move, do it where you can get some pieces right away. Like you said, in rebuild mode, and John and I were having this conversation today. Once you know you're in rebuild mode and you have a player that has the opportunity to play at home, which is a dream for most players, to go home and maybe end their career there and be loved and adorned by the fans of their hometown, then give them the curtain call. Like that's almost a rite of passage for players that have earned their way through playing for bad teams for a long time and haven't complained about it and haven't had a bad attitude about it. And it's not going to hurt the Reds at this point because I think Cincinnati baseball has been struggling for a long time, and they'll probably continue to struggle for quite a while.
Yeah, I don't see a near future where the Reds are a dominant team. So
he's been with the team since 2003, starting as an advanced scout. He's been the GM since 2018. But he was assistant GM before that.
So it's weird then. If you're in the team for 20 years, why does he sound like he doesn't even get the culture?
That's longer than Votto has been on the team.
It's outrageous.
That's longer than Votto has been on the team. And the thing is, for me also, is that Votto didn't have to stay at any point.
Yep.
He could have not re-signed. He could have gone free agent.
No, he had that loyalty factor to him for sure.
Right. But exactly. Votto's been there forever. So it's like, he's been there every game. He played most of every game. He's never really taken a day off. I don't understand that mindset. Why would you have to? And I'm sorry, at the beginning I thought you said Joey Gallo, not Votto.
It's almost like he's trying to bail himself out. He's trying to bail himself out. That's what it is. Like, so when people say, like, why would you do that? He's like, I didn't do it. Votto asked for it. It's like a bailout. It's like a punk.
And if he doesn't do it, it's Joey.
Typical office workers making excuses already.
Yeah. Doesn't make any sense. No. Pat in the Hat.
What up?
Take us home.
What is your outrageous or informative statement by a player, coach, or GM?
Oh, I got you. Okay. Over this past week amongst trade rumors for the LA Chargers, Austin Eckler said, I am underpaid right now. Is that outrageous? Or
what's he making?
He is set to make, let me see, just doing my shit right here, real time. This year he's going to earn $6.25 million in base salary. He's 27 years old, and the last 2 years he's led all running backs in touchdowns.
Is he underpaid? Is
he underpaid?
Yeah, that's outrageous. He's one of the top. He's been in the top 5 running backs last 3 or 4 years. So yeah, it's outrageous. He should get a pay bump, or traded so he can get the pay bump.
Yeah.
So the way I see this is he's not being outrageous. He's informative. I could dig what he's saying because he's not a power back that's going to be a 3-down back. But Eckler has produced for that team, and that they have been the most injured team amongst probably any competitive team in football for the past 3 years, where he's had the opportunity to step up. All the other weapons go down, he steps up. Quarterback has whatever it might be. Quarterback is injured. Backup comes in, doesn't matter. He still does the job. The guy just does his job great. He deserves to be paid a lot more than 6.5. Informative. Pay the man. Pay the man.
Show me the money. Mike, what you got?
It's outrageous that he's being underpaid like that. So informative, because I didn't know he wasn't being paid that much, especially now with a market where Zeke has made what Zeke has made. Saquon just got the franchise tag, which I believe puts him at 11.5 to 12 million.
I thought it was 16.
I don't think it's that. I think that's the quarterback one.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, still over 10 million for the franchise tag. You've got guys like Aaron Jones is probably getting paid more. Dalvin Cook's, if he's not being paid more, he's going to be paid more.
In perspective, Miles Sanders is making $6 million.
Yeah.
So he's Austin Eckler on the level of Miles Sanders' base salary.
Yeah. Which is ridiculous.
Touchdowns. Yeah. Now I think Miles Sanders deserves to be paid a little more than that. But
given they're equal in the pay,
Eckler has been better.
Eckler's had 3 to 4 seasons of 1,000-yard rushing. Right. This is Miles Sanders' first year of 1,000-yard rushing.
Just the touchdowns.
And yeah, exactly, the touchdowns too. So I just don't get that how he is only 6.5, and ultimately he's like you said, Pat. He's been their workhorse. He's been the one scoring more of the touchdowns than anybody. So it's bailing out hurt receivers and stuff. So
Derrick Henry's at 10.5, and we consider him the best back in the league, right? So basically, if he's asking for more, they can't go any higher than 10.5, which is almost double his salary. So yeah, that's a huge increase.
Yeah.
At least get him to 8 or 9 minimum.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when's his contract up?
This year.
Oh, so he's a free agent after the 23.
I'm sure after the trade, he'll want to get paid on an extension.
But then I ask, are we outrageous? Are we outrageous because just in comparison, because we're saying 6.5 ain't that much. I think we're being outrageous. Well, 6.5.
Great scheme of things.
That's like $100,000.
Okay, when comparing to us, yes. He's being paid fine. Yeah. When being compared to his fellow running backs, he's not being paid enough. If the mark is like 10.5 for Henry, then he's not being paid enough.
I'll tell you what, he can't weld. I'll let you know that right now.
Yeah, but I think if you were getting $6.5 million to weld, you probably
I'd have no complaints.
You'd never stop working. So
give me that 50-hour week again, man. I'll do it.
100%.
So, fellas, that was a great segment.
I like that. That's a good one. We can do that again.
So, moving on to the final 4 predictions. We'll make this pretty quick before we go to Cinco Squad.
Yeah.
So, we already saw 2 games today. One was an ass whooping, one was overtime. So, Pat, who are your final 4 predictions?
Alabama. UConn looks really good.
Yeah.
Houston. And who's in the other bracket? Tennessee? No, Tennessee's not there. No.
I'll tell you right now. So
who's in the other bracket?
K-State, Michigan State.
Kansas State.
The East is either going to be Michigan State, Tennessee, or Kansas State, Tennessee, or FAU, which we knew that Purdue wasn't getting through. The West is either going to be Connecticut, UCLA, or Gonzaga. Mm-hmm. The South is going to be Bama, San Diego State, Creighton, or Princeton. And Midwest is Houston, Miami, Texas, or Xavier.
So
let's go. How about we all do this?
I will say Tennessee.
How about we all go East? So our predictions for the East, each one of us, Tennessee, FAU, or Kansas State?
Kansas State.
Tennessee.
Mainly because they just elbow people in the face.
I love the Kansas State story. For Kansas State to put up 98 points against a Michigan State team that's actually playing fairly good defense, even though Tennessee's going to be a juggernaut. I like the story. I like what's going on with Keontae Johnson right now. I like the belief I'm going there.
I'm afraid for that little guy, man.
Yeah.
I'm afraid for him. He's going to go against Tennessee. He might get –
Bro, he's a street
severely
baller,
injured.
Bro.
He might get hurt. No, I mean, it might be I don't know, child abuse.
All right, so 2 Tennessee and 2 Kansas State. In the West, we have UConn, who is absolutely on fire right now. Yeah. We'll play the winner of UCLA Gonzaga. Are we riding the UConn train, or do we think UCLA or Gonzaga once again gets there?
I would never think it because I hate Dan Hurley because of what he did to Syracuse 5 years ago. But I'm going to say UConn this year. They look great on all facets.
Yeah, UConn.
Yeah, UConn. They just look
post-game 3-point defense.
My Husky right now.
I think UCLA wins this bracket.
That was my other choice, but yeah.
Tiger, dude, he's a great point guard, man.
Ganzu is too hard to stop. In the South, we got Bama against San Diego State and Creighton against those pesky Princeton Tigers.
I have Creighton.
Ooh. Going with Mr. McDermott's crew.
They're playing some good basketball right now, man. They defensively, I think they're the only team that can stand against Bama. I mean, I said that in my post that I think that West Virginia or Maryland's going to beat them, but don't believe me. Mike?
I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say Princeton.
What?
They're already going to be our bosses. They don't need to win a championship.
The pesky Princeton Tigers.
That was some sick alliteration there, Jamie. I will go Alabama, and I think this whole bracket is Alabama's to lose anyhow.
Yeah, I hate it. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to stick down in South in Mobile, Alabama, and say that the Tide keep rolling. And you know I hate it because I hope that they would have lost early on in the tournament based on how I felt about everything.
Jamie, they play in Tuscaloosa.
I love you.
Jamie, they play in Tuscaloosa.
I don't give a shit where they play.
Right state.
All right, and finally in the Midwest, we got probably one of the most intriguing matchups, which is Houston and Miami.
Yeah.
And then they play the winner of Texas Xavier.
You know, I've never trusted Miami all year. I'm very shocked that they got this. I'm not because I picked them, but not very shocked. But I'm going to say Houston. I picked them matchup.
You are spinning your wheels everywhere.
It was a tough bracket this year, man. Like you were looking at matchups and looking at who teams played, and Miami, you know, historically has never been a good tournament team. So, like to see them play the way they are is good.
Last year.
However, this is their third straight Final 16.
Okay, so I mean, I'm going to say Houston this year.
With all that said, Houston.
Final 16.
But Miami's a tough. Like they're a tough team. They're gritty.
Jim Boeheim Jr.
Player of the year.
Yeah, Jim Boeheim Jr. I think Miami and Houston are just about the same exact team.
Yeah,
they just play close games and then wait until the last few minutes to just take off.
So who do you have?
Oh, Houston. I thought we were still going around the horn here.
You did the same thing as me. You talked about Miami.
I didn't say shit about Miami.
All right, so
I'm the only one who gave my predictions before we did this officially.
Houston.
You're right.
You got Houston. The most underrated player in basketball is Sir Jabari Rice. The kid is like a mini KD reincarnated.
Rice.
The freaking guy can shoot out of his mind. Yeah, he has the greatest name in college basketball by far, Sir Jabari. Nice. And I think Texas, which nobody gave any shot, sneaks out of this bracket with a close win against Houston, just because I think they have just enough offense to get by Houston.
The battle for the Alamo, Houston, Texas.
Remember the Alamo.
Remember the Alamo.
Yep.
There's a little history behind it too. They almost stole some doctrine from Houston to bring back to Austin, or no, all the way around from Austin to go to Houston. So
informative.
So
Houston would be the capital of Texas.
So while we think that Houston will make it to the Final Four as one of the number 1 seeds, Jamie thinks that Houston will have a problem.
Houston.
All right.
That's wow.
I'm feeling it, Mike. I'm feeling it.
Thank you. Well, if you want more,
I'm also feeling Mobile, Alabama.
Mobile. 2 opposite ends of the state.
If you
learn anything,
I grew up my whole life telling people I'm from St. Lucia, and people go, "Yeah, that's in the Jamaicas, right?" I'm like,
no, it's in St. Lucia.
To which people would answer me, "No,
yes,
man,
no.
Jamaica's. It's in the Jamaicas." I'd be like, "You know what? You're absolutely right. St. Lucia's in the Jamaicas."
Do they mean the Bahamas?
So,
is that what they mean? Do they mean the Bahamas?
No, they meant in the Jamaicas. That's what.
What's
some people...
the Jamaicas? I just know.
You tell me, bro. That conversation was very much this person convinced that I didn't know where my country was from, was where I grew up. So I was like, "Hey, it's in the Jamaicas. Let's go there. I'm dying to go to a holiday in the Jamaicas."
Somewhere in that.
Yeah.
Well, next week we will make our championship predictions to see and then who wins it all. So stay tuned next week for Cinco Squad episode 52.
Do we have a little update on the brackety bracket?
Yes, we do. And it is our trusty friend, Mr. Cinco, leading it. Let me pull it up here real quick.
Oh, our bracket. Yeah. Bring them out.
All right. Well, apparently it's not working. I got it right here.
Cinco Squad ammo, baby.
Never works.
Remember what Denny said, John?
No.
Those who live by technology must be prepared to be failed by technology.
I learned that from last week.
Yes,
I
did say.
Don't bring up school.
You brought it up earlier.
Mr. Trey. Oh, there's been a move in the standings.
What?
So Trey Day is continuing to lead at 400 points, and he has Alabama winning it all. And Jamie jumped from 4th to 2nd with UCLA winning it all at 330 points. I am at 3rd for 310, and then Lonely Mike is in 4th at 280 points, and Pat's in 1st at 1,000 points.
Undefeated, baby.
To Pat's,
you can't lose if you don't participate.
to Pat's side on this is we did this like literally last minute, like an hour before, and he doesn't work where he can just be like, okay. So my apologies, Pat.
Waist
my
deep
apologies.
and coolant, man. I could not move.
My apologies. My apologies on that.
I washed my hands to answer John's text. I said, right now, nope.
Usually you have to fill the bracket out before the games, Pat. But for you, you can do it after.
But for you,
hey, could you do this?
But Pat, for you, you can do it after. When it's over with, you can fill your bracket out and let me know how it goes.
Where the hell?
Oh my God, Pat! How do you get it all right?
You got a perfect bracket. You picked Princeton.
Revisionist history, love it.
I had a good feeling about Farley Dickinson.
I knew Furman from a wee lad.
Furman.
Oh, wait. Did you know Furman used to be called the Christian Knights?
No.
So Furman University were the Christian Knights. And that's spelled
like that was their nickname, or that was the name of the school?
It's spelled fuck.
No, was that their nickname or the?
Yeah, their nickname.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like Christian Knights University.
University Christian Knights.
Furman University Christian Knights.
Where do you go? Fuck. All right, I think it's time for our favorite part. Stop the Squad! Take it away, Jay.
Boy. Ladies and gentlemen, if you made it this far, thank you for joining us here on Cinco Squad. You can catch us every Thursday night.
Yep.
I don't show up at 8:45, but the rest of my crew does. All right, this is our favorite point of the show. This is where we get to stump each other by asking each other trivia questions from any field of sports. We normally cheat, but we pretend like we don't. We just get wrong answers so you guys can feel good about yourselves because, hey, we're not perfect, but in a different world we are. Anyway, 2 points per question. Person with the most points at the end gets the rant of the week. Gentlemen, I will start us off this week.
Whoa.
What?
I like it.
It's all right. You show up late and you just go first. Go ahead, Jamie.
Yeah, I'm going to start us off this week because I never go first. And I'm like, shit, I want to go first.
The host goes always first, right?
He debated it so long he was late for the show.
The dealer deals himself first. Right.
At least when I play poker.
Look at the card first.
I want that one. You can have that one.
ESPN recently came out and ranked the top 100 players in baseball post World Baseball Classic. And they have ranked Mr. Shohei Ohtani as number 1 right now in baseball. The question I have for you is, which team does not have a player in the top 10 out of the following list?
Okay.
The Cardinals, the Phillies, the Mariners, or the Mets? Once again, which one of these teams does not, according to ESPN, have a player in the top 10 at the moment? The Cardinals, the Phillies, the Mariners, or the Mets?
I know the answer, so we'll wait.
So
I'm not following John saying Mets again. I'm not doing that. Phillies.
Mikey?
It's the Mets.
Pat, you should have followed them because Trey Turner is in the top 10 right now.
Yes,
the Mets do not have a player ranked in the top 10. Just to give you guys ESPN's top 10, just to go over it very quickly.
Yeah.
We got Shohei at 1, Mike Trout at 2, The Judge at 3, Manny Machado at 4, Freddie Freeman at 5, Juan Soto at 6. We have Julio Rodriguez at 7, Trey Turner at 8, Mookie at 9, and Nolan Arenado at 10.
Cardinals.
Damn.
No New York.
Forgot Turner went to the Phillies.
All right, Mikey, you're up.
Mr. Know-it-all.
I know the answer.
I know the answer.
I did
I'm
know
not-
the
Remember when he
I'm not-
said it and it was wrong? That was a good time.
I know, that was amazing. That was like the best day here. Because we were all like, ah!
Okay, I'll take my 20 wins.
There you go.
So sticking with baseball.
Mike's the villain.
I am the villain.
That's a clip. That's a clip. I am the villain. Look at him with his Irish hat and Yankees jersey. Everyone get
I
him.
bring Stump the Squad to you.
I dare you to dress as Bane. Next time you do Stump the Squad, you gotta dress as Bane.
I have the mask.
Combined.
I have the mask.
Stump the Squad is yours. Do what you please. Anyway,
Ask the question.
sticking
That
with
was
baseball,
gold, man.
this one is another one courtesy of Uncle Mike.
Shocker.
As I haven't used. No, you know, I haven't used it in a while. He gave it to me a few weeks ago. On March 15th, 2000.
1972.
No, 2000. We're all alive. The only perfect game in spring training history happened. What team threw it? A, the Los Angeles Dodgers. B, the Seattle Mariners. C, the Boston Red Sox. Or D, the Atlanta Braves.
Let's say the Mariners.
Mariners.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 Mariners.
Sox.
We prefer to be called Seaman, but Mariners.
The Sox.
Gentlemen, I have successfully stumped John and Pat.
Yeah,
Ah.
That was a 100-win season team.
boy. Yeah.
I was thinking in my head the teams that wouldn't pitch their pitchers past a certain amount, but I forgot that.
I just thought it would be funny that the Mariners did it
Yeah.
in spring training.
Boston Boston beat Toronto 5-0 and used 5 pitchers.
Okay.
Oh, that doesn't count.
It's a perfect game.
It's a perfect game.
That doesn't count.
I'll tell you what counts. My 2 points, sucker.
Oh, yeah. That doesn't count.
Next up is Mr. It Doesn't Count Pat.
Yeah. I've heard that before. All right.
It doesn't matter.
All right. Highest paid running back ever was Adrian Peterson,
Ever.
Forever?
who was the third. The
The
third.
third?
highest paid. The third.
Ricky Martin.
Ever. Is it Ezekiel Elliott, Frank Gore, Reggie Bush, or Edgerrin James?
Like highest paid
Highest
per
paid.
year.
Third highest
Ever.
Like
In total or
Ever.
for a single season?
Ever. I'm just going off what this thing says.
But does it look like it's like
Oh, career earnings. I got to read the
Career
fine
earnings.
Okay.
print. I would have never looked at that if no one questioned it.
Okay, so say him again.
Ezekiel Elliott,
All right.
Christian McCaffrey. Wait, no, I didn't say
You
that.
changed it.
Yeah.
did not make
I didn't write it out.
You
I'm
said
just going off-
McCaffrey. You said McCaffrey. You said
No, he
McCaffrey,
didn't say
Edgerrin
McCaffrey.
James, Reggie Bush,
Oh,
Frank
No,
Gore,
he didn't say
Frank Gore.
and
McCaffrey.
Frank Gore.
oh, let me talk.
Zeke,
Yeah.
Zeke, sorry.
Frank Gore,
Yeah,
Reggie Bush,
yeah.
Edgerrin James. McCaffrey's not part of it.
I'm gonna say Gore. Who was the
Yeah,
third? Gore.
yeah. I'm
No,
gonna say
because Gore would be second because he had a very long career. So I'm gonna go with
Yeah.
Edge. Give me the Edge.
Yeah, let me go with Edge. I'm gonna go Edge now.
No, I'm gonna stick with Gore.
I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon up there.
I'm on the edge.
I'm
One
good.
Edge, two
If
Gores.
Mike win, make it up, Pat. Don't let me
Don't let him
Christian
do it.
McCaffrey.
Oh shit! It was what?
Successfully stumped Mike DeSanto.
Ah,
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Boom.
James.
High five, James.
James.
When he said, "CJ, you shouldn't talk," and then you would have had it by yourself.
My
I
reasoning.
had to go
my
off this
reasoning.
like,
Yeah.
long list.
is it
so
is
my
it
bad.
Gore second?
Gore
ahead.
is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th.
Oh.
Oh,
Who's second? McCaffrey.
Zeke.
Zeke. That was a big contract.
already?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big contract, man.
Christian
Big
McCaffrey
guarantee.
is 4th.
Where's Derrick
All
Henry?
right.
Derrick Henry's way down there.
Wow.
He didn't get paid a lot his first few years.
He wasn't. Was he a first round pick?
No,
I don't think he was a first round pick.
Second round pick, I
So
think.
I don't think he gets that big contract that first rounders get.
Well, definitely not the bonus.
No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah,
8,
first round
9,
bonuses
10,
are like
11,
$5 million.
12. He was 11.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Behind Marshawn and right above Steven Jackson.
All right. Well, it is down to 3. It is down to I'm at 2, Jamie's at 4, Mike's at 0. So we have to stump Jamie and Mike.
Who's sweet?
And Pat. Me and you, Pat. We'll do it together.
I don't gotta do shit, man. I'm living a dream over here. No pressure. I can say whatever I want. It don't matter.
Don't matter.
Well, Pat, you have to be ready with a tiebreaker, though.
All right, ready?
Gotcha.
Who holds the single game scoring record in the NCAA tournament? Is it Michael Jordan, Kemba Walker, Oscar Robertson, or Austin Carr?
Say all of that again.
Michael Jordan, Kemba Walker, Oscar Robertson, Austin Carr.
I'm going to say the big O. That's what I like. I don't even know what the question was.
Who holds the single game scoring record in the NCAA tournament?
Hey, Mike, I know the answer, so you have to answer yours.
I guess I don't need a tiebreaker.
Austin Carr a distraction or not? Is the question.
Oh, let's see his picture.
Answer the question. Come on. Let's go.
Thinking.
Let's go. No more
You
thinking.
guys got plenty of time. You're fine.
I gotta go to bed soon, man.
Come on.
Screw it. I'll go Austin Carr.
Austin Carr's correct. He has the first, third, and fourth most
Oh!
It is Austin Carr. I have successfully stumped Pat.
What's
and
up?
Jamie is week 51 winner.
points. Thank God I joined the show, too. Hey, give me some love. Gentlemen,
Oh, yeah.
good to
Well,
be back.
And he scored in the game. It was 61 points in 1970.
He's the only person to score over 60, I think, in a single game.
And he has, you're right, he has 56
NCAA
points. He has 52, but he doesn't have the third. Oscar Robertson has the third with 54 points. He has the
Big
fourth.
O.
Okay.
So you were close, Pat. So
If not for Austin Carr, you would have been right.
Not for Mr. Carr. So I owe Coach Dusty May an apology because last week when we spoke about should teams get in if they missed out on a championship, I kind of talked FAU down and said they were going to get their, pushed in by Memphis, to which
yes,
they
you
did.
did.
And then they played Farley Dickinson and I didn't say they had the easy road, but they, playing a 16, and it was a close game. They're in the Elite Eight. And as much as I do want to cheer for the SEC, I'm cheering for FAU tonight because I love the post-game interview after the upset of Memphis with him and one of his players, where the player actually broke down and said that if it wasn't for Coach May, he doesn't know where he would be. And it was a very touching interview. And Coach May kind of stepped up to the mic and he had a really cool, calm demeanor. He's actually being compared to Ted Lasso right now because of his demeanor. And he just stepped up and said, look, these players, I asked them to hold each other accountable, and every single player on the team has done that. They deserve to be here. I loved his demeanor. I love the way the team spoke about him. It looked like a team that was very cohesive, and he looked like the kind of coach that really just leads through example and through love. And so it kind of swayed me to have to apologize to FAU basketball and big them up for their probably their biggest success. I think it's the first time they've been to the Sweet 16 in program history. So well done, Coach May and FAU. And I hope you guys pull off the upset tonight.
Yeah, I mean, they're down 7 right now to Tennessee, so they're fighting hard. I mean, yeah, they definitely, shocked me, the way they played. So, hats off. And I think it sucked too because we doubled down on a clip with you saying like they're gonna get destroyed. So Jamie,
an apology. You gotta give Jack his jacket, and when you're wrong, you gotta just admit you're wrong. And well done, man. This is the Cinderella kind of story we were talking about, right? Like we want to see Cinderella dance for as long as possible.
Yes, sir. So, anyways, Jay, I didn't get to show you in the beginning of the show, but Dries decided to send me a UWG jersey.
Big up, Dries.
Big
number 2, man. 3-3.
Yep. And it still doesn't fit me, but whatever.
I'll be taking that from you.
Little tight. But any final thoughts on the weekend or anything you guys say, Jamie?
Playing basketball.
Mike's segment is what you sipping. Final thoughts
love
is Jamie's.
that basketball. Oh, Pat, by the way,
we need a
who's your
segment.
parlay?
Oh, listen to find out.
I was gonna say, tune into the socials.
I love
after.
Tune into the socials after.
I love that.
Spoilers!
I love that.
And for everyone listening or watching, we have new at the bottom new socials right there. Check it out and share, subscribe, send to your whole family and even grandma and grandpa. So
tell your cat to subscribe.
Yeah.
Cat
Speaking
subscribe.
of grandma and grandpa, bet grandma's house on Texas beating Xavier.
yeah.
Not your
Don't,
house. Bet grandma.
Jamie, don't do this again.
Well, like I said, subscribe on Facebook, YouTube,
Yep.
Instagram, where else? TikTok, everywhere. Share, subscribe,
Find us.
Center Hall, City Hall,
wherever you want.
church.
Send us a letter, whatever.
Post everywhere like it.
Boys, have a great weekend. Watch a lot of college basketball, and we'll see you next week where we have a special episode with Idris coming back on the show.
Love it.
See you guys.
Cinco Squad to the world.